today, for the first time, I've got a way to fight back. Becoming a lawyer is what's getting me out.
How are you here?
Hard work and goodwill. What's your method?
That's a clip from a new show on ABC called For Life. It airs tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern. It's a story based on a real-life experience of Isaac Wright Jr., a man from New Jersey who was wrongfully convicted of drug offenses and given a life sentence. But Isaac, he studied to become a lawyer while he was behind bars. He won his freedom and also helped others to do the same. Now, this is something that happens more often than maybe you think. In 2018, the most recent year that stats are available, 151 people were freed after being wrongfully convicted and thrown in prison. That means it happens 3 times a week, and the people put away averaged 11 years behind bars per person. And now let's bring in Isaac Wright Jr. His story, it's the basis of a new ABC program called For Life. It's a show that airs tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern. And Isaac, I caught last week's episode, thought it was really good, and I'm curious. A lot of times when people are wrongfully convicted, like you were, during the trial, they said, there's no way, I'm going to get convicted at the end of this. You were pretty sure you were going away even though you didn't do the crime. Why did you think that the facts wouldn't come out to exonerate you?
Well, when I was arrested, I began to see what was happening early on. I mean, I ultimately understood that the judge was even involved in what the prosecutor was doing to me. But the peculiar thing, the first thing that actually happened when I was arrested that was very, very peculiar was that it was like they were holding me in a cell in one of the jails, one of the police department jails in the area, and it had to have been maybe 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and the prosecutor himself, he came in and came up to the cell. I thought it was an attorney to come to see me, but he was an attorney, but he was a prosecuting attorney. He put his hands through the bars. I shook his hands, and he said, "Listen, I came here just to let you know. My name is Nicholas L. Bissell, and I'm going to be handling your case personally." Now, this was a head prosecutor that got out of his bed in the middle of the night just to come let me know that he was going to be trying my case personally, and I'm just arrested. I mean, there's no discovery, there's no negotiations, there's nothing. He knows he's trying this case, he knows that he's going to handle it, and he wanted me to know personally that that was going to happen. So that was the first thing that was clear to me, that I was in deep trouble. And then as time went on, I knew that I was going to prison. There was nothing that was ever going to save me. I was going, and I had to deal with that reality and deal with my case based on that reality, and that's what I did.
And in fact, as it'll go on through the show, but we already know from your real life story, there were people who testified against you who said they worked for you, you'd never even seen them before in your life.
Yes.
And we know, obviously, the facts eventually came out. But to that end, it's interesting. I would think of anybody, guys that were put away wrongfully by a judicial system that was stacked against you, the last thing you'd want to be is an attorney. Now, obviously, you served as a paralegal behind bars to help other guys get freed. But why did you decide to go into the law after what it did to you?
I owed that to my ultimate destiny, which was my freedom and the return to my family. I mean, God was with me. This was a divine journey, and I think I owed it to the people that were unjustly convicted. I owed it to society. I owe it to myself, and I owe it to God to come back and to be a better part of the system, to fight for the people who cannot fight for themselves, especially those who are unjustly accused and unjustly convicted and sentenced. And so that's a compelling position that I'm in as a matter of life. That the rest of my life is dedicated to that fight, to that struggle that I had to go through. I didn't have anyone to help me, and thank God I had a gift I didn't know anything about. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of people who do not have that gift, so I have a responsibility to them and to the public at large to continue to fight.
And to that point, Isaac, I'm curious, because you had never been through the system before. The 7 years that you served inside and now that you are a member of the bar, A, do you have faith in the judicial system, and B, everybody always says they're innocent when they're inside, but having worked on so many cases, do you think we'd be shocked at how many people have been wrongfully convicted and are to this day, serving long stretches, sometimes life sentences for crimes they didn't commit.
Absolutely, it's shocking. The numbers are shocking, and the reason why you have to remember that these are the forgotten souls. These are people who they're labeled criminals, and the reality is that some of them are, but the way our country is set up by our founders is that it's better for a guilty person to go free than an innocent man to spend a day in jail for something he didn't do. That's the way our system of justice is set up, and it's set up that way because we want to ensure at all costs that people who are innocent are not put through a system, are not destroyed by the public that is there to protect them for no reason whatsoever. And so when you look at the struggle that I went through and the things that I had to do in order to get myself out of prison, it's ridiculous. It's tragic. There should be mechanisms set up to be able to help people in these kinds of situations, to be able to weed through those ones that hold weight, those cases that hold a lot of weight when it comes to injustice, and get these people out and not have to wait 18, 20 years, for someone to say, oh, you know what, by the way, he really didn't do that. Let's let him out.
And again, you can catch that show For Life, 10 p.m. It'll be running tonight, so you can see the debate, then you can see the show. But Isaac, so far, you got me in. I'm watching it, and your story's unbelievable. I appreciate you spending a few minutes with us. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
And RFL will be back with more right after this.